Has it been run since then, or has it just...
It hasn't run since 1985.
So you're saying since 1985 the car hasn't been serviced, it hasn't been driven, it hasn't been started?
That's correct.
What I'm a little bit afraid of is when the cars have sat for all of those years.
Well, Peter, that's a valid concern, I agree. But don't offer me $300,000.
There's a fella that finds some cars for me, and he was telling me about an 81 Boxer, so that's the last of the carbureted cars. He said this guy's owned the car since brand new. The guy is a freak for having all the paperwork. The guy's got all the original pieces. He talked to him a little bit on the phone, and he says it might be time for him to sell. Guy wants all the money in the world for the car, but it sounds like all the car in the world. So even though it's more than what I really want to pay for it, you never know if you can get a deal done, and it's a lot easier to try and do it face to face, but it sounds like a great car.
Come to look at the car?
Absolutely.
Cars have increased incredibly in the last 5 years, and I've come to the realization now is probably a really good time to sell. So he came to see my lovely car.
I did. Tell me a little about it.
Okay, Peter, it's a 1981.
Yeah.
And I bought it brand new. And I haven't driven it since 1985.
Wow. How many miles are on it?
1,500.
Wow. Okay.
Nobody believes that, but that's genuine.
As we're opening the door, it's like opening a Cracker Jack box. You never know what you're going to find.
Okay, here's the car.
Wow. So it was 1985 is the last registration. That's
correct. That's correct, yes.
Wow. Has it been run since then, or has it just...
It hasn't run since 1985.
So you're saying since 1985 the car hasn't been serviced, it hasn't been driven, it hasn't been started?
That's correct, yeah.
So is it okay if I just open the doors, the back, bonnet, the front, and just have a look at everything?
Yeah, please do. Please look it over carefully.
Okay, thank you. I'm always leery when a guy says he's got a car with 1,500 miles on it. When I looked at the interior and peeled back the cocoa mats, the carpets were like brand new. The seats were as good as you get in a car like that. As I opened the back to look at the engine, it's exactly what I was expecting. Nobody's ever been in there. Nobody's ever monkeyed with anything. I mean, it had some paint peeling here and there, but every hose clamp was original. The car was in spectacular original condition. As I look at the rear suspension and the exhaust, yes, there's some very minor surface rust, but it's exactly what I want to see. As I open the front bonnet, again, the original spare is there, all the original undercoating. The weather strip is peeled off a little bit, but all the original glue is there. Nobody has ever been in the front either. The foam on the hood has fallen off that seals against the radiator, but other than that, it's in perfect condition. I got a call from a broker about an original owner Ferrari Boxer. I've got to buy this car. Is that a nice car?
Yeah, I've got the paperwork here. When I air freighted the car from Europe, and also the manual for the car. So you can look that over.
Yeah, car's a great car. It looks... Anything else that you can tell me about it?
Yes, you should. I want to make aware of the fact that the car has been federalized, and I have still all the original parts that have been put aside, so the car, every part on the car is original.
We talked about the price, and he said he'd like to get somewhere over $400,000. The market's definitely been on the move, but in the last year, it's also cooled off a little on Boxers, and they did build a lot. But this is probably the best one I've ever seen. That's great. The price we talked about, you're around 400?
Well, I'd like to get a bit more than 400.
It's going to need a major service no matter what. So that's going to be, $10,000, $15,000, depending on, Ferrari dealer. They'll go through it and they'll see what it needs. I guess part of the problem, and I love the condition, I love the mileage, and the fact that you're the original owner and have all the paperwork. What I'm a little bit afraid of is when the cars have sat for all of those years.
Well, Peter, that's a valid concern, I agree, but don't offer me $300,000.
And fair enough. I mean, we all know the prices have gone from, $100,000 to $300,000 or $400,000, and You know, is the market going to stop here? Is it going to pull back? Is it going to continue to go? It's all a crapshoot. What if we did something at $350,000, and that leaves me some room and, you know, a possibility of making some money?
Well, Peter, I wanted a bit over 400. You've got to come up a bit yet.
Okay. I don't think you're wrong. The problem is you're at a retail number, which you should be. But for me to sell the car, I have to do the service. I can't sell it not running and driving. So I'm going to spend the money there, and I want to make some profit on it. And I truly believe to get a deal done on the other end, I'm going to ask $395,000 for the car, just under $400,000. So you're not wrong, but if you do the math backwards and say, I got to make a little bit of money, I have to do the service, and I have that wild card in there. So at the end of the day, I'm really doing it for about 10%.
Okay, well, I see your point. Maybe we can make a deal and can we meet in the middle on this?
Again, I don't think there's any profit, but what I will do is we'll do a clean, quick deal. I'll wire the money into your account. I'll have the truck pick it up. They'll help you get it out. You don't have to touch it. You don't have to clean it. You don't have to get it running. It's a simple, easy deal.
I agree, yeah. Well, okay, let's make a deal.
Perfect. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Glad you got the car.
No, I appreciate it. I find a lot with guys that are getting a little older, they just don't want the grief. They don't want a bunch of people walking through their places. They don't want to have to show a bunch of different guys the cars, and they certainly don't want tire kickers. So my whole MO is make their life simple. Wire their money into the account, get the car out of their garage with as little fuss as possible.
The fact that Peter said that he would take the car the way it is and I wouldn't have to do any servicing, and also that he would pay for the shipping and have it shipped, and that's what's really important to me because I'm just a bit stretched for time as well. So these are things that really helped me come to making a deal with Peter.
I just bought a great original Boxer from an original owner, but the car's been sitting a long time and still needs to be tweaked.
When we're detailing these super original cars, we have to take a little bit of a different approach. You don't want to go and put all the paint marks back. You don't want to touch up all the paint chips. What you want to do is take soap and water and clean all the dirt off, and that's it. Leave all the original patina. In this day and age, we know that the factory paint on these cars was not perfect. So what we're gonna do is simply polish it, but we're not gonna improve on the paint. We're not gonna take out the orange peel, the dirt. We're just gonna make it as shiny as possible while still preserving that original factory paint. The leather on these cars is typically fairly delicate, so what we wanna do is use a high quality cleaner and then a high quality conditioner. We took the car in and had a major service done on it, and Kaylee did a great job of cleaning it up. But before it goes, I should really drive it and make sure everything works on it and it's not gonna surprise anyone. Poor me. As I'm currently driving one of these 512 BBs in North America, it wouldn't have been an option for me brand new. No BB was ever produced for North America because Enzo decided it was too much money to comply with all the environmental and safety regulations. However, immediately this opened the opportunity for a lot of third parties to start converting these cars so guys could drive them in the States. So they jumped from the 365 GT4 BB and they changed it to the 512 BB in '76. The 5 stood for the 5-liter, the 12 cylinder. This thing also has a dry sump in it, so it really made it an option for a track car back in the day. Well, it certainly pulls. And why wouldn't it? 360 horsepower coming out of a flat 12 Boxer engine sitting right over the rear wheels. A first for Ferrari in production cars. What a treat. I mean, such smooth power, mid-engine car. This thing was a race car. It's a real treat to be getting to drive something like this. I mean, it's a 12-cylinder Ferrari, 5-speed, 1981. cool car.
I've known Bill Wallace for 25 years. He's a local dealer that's added a bunch of dealerships to his network, and now he has a leasing company, and occasionally he has some customers that are looking for some vintage exotics.
I've known Peter for over 20 years. We've been doing business and trading cars back and forth. We know the business, and we've come to know Peter as a reliable source of vehicles for our clientele. You know, we obviously haggle on price a little bit, but at the end of the day, we do business, we know what we're getting, and we can satisfy our clientele.
I've known Bill, so when he comes in and says, I've got a guy that wants this boxer, I'm paying attention. Bill, how are you?
Peter, I'm well. Good to see you, as always.
Things
Good
are
to see
good?
you. Can't complain. How about you?
Very good, very good. What do you think?
Great, thanks for letting me know on this car. I've got a really good customer, client of ours in our Wallace National Leasing, who is a Ferrari guy, understands, you know, Ferraris, has a Daytona, has a Dino. We currently lease him a 550 Maranello, and he's looking to upgrade that vehicle into something more classic. So, you know what, this might be just the perfect vehicle.
You saw the ad?
Saw the ad. Yeah, I looked over on your website. Looks good. You know, we've done business for 20 years, and I understand what I see is what I get. It's always good in that respect. So
it's a 1,500-mile, one-owner car, original paint, original tires, original interior, just like what we had on the internet. No stories, no surprises.
It's important to have those, you know, old friendships that are interested in the collector car trade and vintage car trade, but also reliable sources and business partners so that we can make sure that we look after our clientele, and that's the name of the game. Great. You know what? This client is a really good guy. He knows his Ferraris. He knows he's been to Cavallina with vehicles. He's really looking for something unique. He's had this 550, only 6,500 miles approximately on the vehicle.
So he wants to trade that in?
I think he wants to trade that in, so we currently lease it to him, so we would trade it in, work a deal, and let's work some differences and see what we can do. But, you know, I'm really impressed with the car.
Like any good car dealer, it's not going to be a straightforward deal. There's going to be at least one back and forth. It just depends how much his customer wants the car.